Oh, shoot. You know what? I didn't do that. That's fine. I'll change that. Every time I click start streaming, it's immediately, oh, yep, I forgot about that. Yep. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I will fix it right now real quick before I say anything else. So let's go here. Let's switch to here. All right, guys, we're going to get this. Because we're so good. We're so good at this. You know exactly what's going on. Oh, it did change. Oh, so then what the hell am I worried about? Yeah, it's fine. All right. Hold on. Is it going to come? Hold on. I'm going to turn that off real quick before it comes through here and then does something dumb and annoying. Yeah, that's what I didn't change. I didn't change this. Hold on. I'm going to fix it real quick and then I can start. Now, just that. There we go. Save that and then, yeah. That'll work that way. Okay. We're good. We're good. Everything's fine. That. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm back after, what was it, a day of absence. I was not here Thursday due to technical difficulties and work being, work. So now I'm back today. I'm back here for episode number 54 of Free Refill, coming off what was, in my opinion, a very much electric and entertaining and exciting weekend of NCAA basketball in March Madness. The Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 happened over the course since Thursday through Sunday, and I'm actually low-key a little upset that I wasn't able to stream that Purdue-Texas game, which was, had an incredible ending as well. The entire tournament has been just immaculate, and now I'm upset. I'm upset that I wasn't able to stream it. It really bummed me out. So I'm glad I was able to at least catch it. I was not able to, unfortunately. A wee bit unfortunate that I was not able to actually be there. But what I am excited to say is that, hey, say what I will, I didn't get everything right, but I got the Final Four right. Illinois, Uconn, Michigan, Arizona. I got the Final Four. The only thing I'm worried about is that I'm just wrong about the outcomes. I have a very sneaking feeling that Uconn is going to end up beating Illinois, and I'll be wrong. And with the way Michigan has looked, I'm very scared that they will down Arizona. So that's kind of the issue for me, at least. But you know what? Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully I can be right. But, my gosh, I'm trying to pull up my own bracket so I can just look at it for a second. Here it is. Yeah, so I was nervous that I was going to be wrong because, we all saw how much Uconn immensely struggled, especially in that first half against the Duke Blue Devils, and being down 19 at half and then coming all the way back. Terrace Reed Jr., huge game. And then Braylon Mullins and Carabin. Or is it Carabin? Carabin? I don't watch the games with commentary, so I never really know. But the fact Carabin going 0 for 6 and then Mullins being 0 for 4 from 3 prior to each of their huge shots late, just straight up cinema. And I'm very excited. I am very excited to see how the Final Four ends up concluding. I'll definitely be getting into Uconn and Duke. I'll get a little bit into the other Final Four matchups as well. They weren't necessarily as exciting. But before I even hop into all of that, I think the main question is the Elite Eight prior. Duke and St. John's was incredibly close. I feel for St. John's. I just feel like they never seem to have enough shooters to be able to really get by a team like Duke. So that's just unfortunate. Michigan State versus Uconn was a close game as well. Illinois down in Houston to me. And then that's always been like the Ralph Sampson's Houston team. I saw this tweet recently basically saying Sampson's team being, Houston is essentially sort of like the Detroit Lions, how I feel about Detroit, where they're just their window's kind of done. Like, if they weren't, like, last year was the best chance they had, and they're never going to get nearly as close ever again. And that's just tough, right? But hey, it is what it is, and I mean, I feel for them, but at the same time, it never really feels like they have enough anyway outside of being Kelvin Sampson. Why did I say Ralph? I'm thinking of the wrong Sampson. Thinking of Ralph Sampson, the basketball player, not Kelvin Sampson. Whatever. My bad. I had Ralph. I had the Freudian slip. I was gonna say because I'm pretty sure it's not Ralph. Like, I know Ralph is. Whatever. Seeing Houston go down though, I felt good about it. I picked Illinois. Tennessee beating Iowa State. I honestly really feel just happens just because Iowa State was undermanned coming into this game, and Tennessee is just coming off the huge win of Virginia. Tennessee's run was actually very impressive considering it was against number 3 seeded Virginia and number 2 Iowa State. Alabama just got kind of rocked, and then Michigan got rocked even worse. Like, Michigan by far looks like the team to beat, which is why I'm a little nervous because Arizona, while they have won, hasn't necessarily been super dominant in their wins. They normally, like, especially against Purdue, only being they were down actually 7, and then coming out of half, they're a very good team coming out of the break. So I think that's what's going to if they can have, like, let's say like even keep it close with Michigan in the first half and then come out the second half. But I guess Michigan by that consensus is also a very good second half team. So we'll have to see where that ends up going. Regardless, it's been a great tournament so far. I'm excited to see even more of it. So I just kind of want to get into talking about the main Elite Eight games that went down. Of course, you have Duke and Uconn, Arizona, Purdue, Iowa, Illinois, and then of course Michigan and Tennessee. The first one, I mean, the obvious one is the absurdity of Uconn stunning Duke. First off, the fact that game in any capacity was close in Duke's sense, because again, it's worse than even what the show's on screen, right? Like, yeah, they were up 9 with 5 minutes to go, but being up 19 when you are generally considered the more talented, I would argue in many cases too, the more talented team, just based on the recruiting classes that Duke always has, having a number 1 overall pick in next year's draft like Cam Boozer, and for this game to go the way it did, I gotta say, man, give credit to Dan Hurley. Give credit to that whole squad. The Huskies have, I mean, listen, they're still, like, even, I would argue more so than Duke, which is kind of crazy. Like, Duke is still very much considered like a blue blood, but in terms of actually winning in these late moments, UConn, Dan Hurley, to his credit, might be one of, if not the best basketball coach of at least the modern era. I don't know about going back into the 90s, 80s, and 70s, but I feel very comfortable saying, especially if he pulls off this one, it would be now 3 and 4 years, which is just, it's absurd to do at a college level, even in a world where NIL exists. Because, like, I'm going to be real with you. I watch, outside of maybe like Terrace Reed, Duke generally just feels like the more athletic and the better, more talented players. But when it comes to being well coached, having that hustle mentality, putting themselves in those positions to go out and win close basketball games, UConn absolutely comes up huge there. And when you have like Braylon Mullins there, that shot as well. I've also seen a lot of people talk about that shot in particular and saying it's one of the best shots in college basketball history, obviously, but where it ranks, there was, what was I think? It's like Elite Eight, so it's hard to, because I think a lot of people will say, like, the ones that won the whole thing, that won the championship are better. But there was one ranking I saw where they had an older, like, layup against Bynum State over this shot particular. And I'm going to be honest, no. Because number one, I think this is what is the game? I'm going to look that up now, because actually I'm spitting, but I actually don't know. Winning shots versus, or I should say game-winning layup. That'll probably help me find it faster. Is it for or against Bynum State? I'm not. Oh, it's Will Bynum. Why did I say Bynum State? It's because it was Oklahoma State, yeah. Yeah, Will Bynum in 2004. I guess beating them in the Final Four. Yeah, but I mean, I I would arguably put this shot over that. Because I watched that shot, and I'm like, yes, it happens in the Final Four, but I think that as crazy as it is, that to me doesn't really emphasize which is the more impressive play. I think 100% Mullins and this entire, because you can't, the context also matters too, right? Like Mullins' shot probably shouldn't have never even gotten up based on the fact that Duke had the ball in their situation up 1, right? Like, yeah, Final Four, whatever. Will Bynum makes it, congrats. I really don't, I think this shot's more impressive. That's all. And it might be recency bias. I also wasn't around in 2004. I was, but I was really tiny and probably not watching basketball. But I would say even recency bias aside, I think this shot is better and more impressive and contextually, I think makes more sense. What is, let me, hold on, 18, what? Oh, this was uploaded 18 years ago. That's crazy. What was the seeding? Does anyone know the seeding off the top of their head? Because I do not. Huh? Dude, what is this, like, the YouTube recommended on the primetime channel? It's just so funny to look at. I'm sorry, it just is. It just looks bizarre. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a layup. Like, it's impressive, no doubt. Like, to ISO, get the layup. But it's also, like, you have to understand, yes, it's to win it, but they're not losing. Like, if he misses this shot and Georgia Tech still beats Oklahoma State, like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, if he misses the layup, then, like, it's, you know, the game's not over. Whereas, like, if Mullins misses the three-pointer, they lose. Like, that's, I don't know. I think winning the game is one thing, but to win the game to make sure you don't lose it, I think is, in my opinion, much more impressive than what they could have possibly done than any other shots. Let's not act like that's not the case. And outside of just the shot itself, I gotta be honest, as good as Dan Hurley's coaching is, Duke's coaching in that moment was abysmal and bad and terrible and needs to be clowned more, which it's really not. And that's usually what happens, but it bothers me that when you are, especially when you're the coach of such a prestigious program, right? Like, and I'm not trying to, like, say I wanted Duke to win. I had Uconn moving on. It's more of the fact that when you coach a team like Duke and you got that much talent in the room and you're not prepared for that, 10 seconds. No, like, clearly seeing that it's not going well. No timeout was called. And like, what do we, like, seriously. Like, I'm going to pull this up right now. Like, this is absurd. Is it going to give me an ad? Of course. It's going to try to. Okay, this is right at the end there. But, like, they had a timeout, didn't they? Yeah, Duke had a timeout. Duke had a timeout, saw that it wasn't going. The whole sequence was blown up at that point. Oh, my gosh, it's like the full. Yeah. Makes a layup. 2-point game. Okay, they're inbounding this ball. Right here. Right there. Like, I would argue the second there. Like, I don't know how you're not calling. I would have called timeout the second this started. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if they had just done it before. There's no way I'm not calling timeout there. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm not calling timeout, especially with the way that sequence went. Oh my, because again, like, you already can see right off the jump, like here, right off the jump of the inbound, it's Boozer, right? Yeah, Boozer right here, already, like, is already being, like, didn't have full control of the ball. Like, they shouldn't have been even trying to pass it. I get that they're trying to kill clock, but in that situation, just allow yourself to get fouled. I would prefer that you get fouled there. Because you have to understand, if you turn it over at any point, then, which is exactly what happened, right? You've got two guys now needing to run back on defense, and nobody's ready. Like, it doesn't even get hands up. Doesn't even get hands up. 7, brother. No, 3. Number 3 for Duke never gets his hands up. It's the shot to either win or lose game. You're not going to even try to block it? He doesn't even try. He genuinely just stands in front of him. Like, I get it's from the logo. That's not the point. Get your hands up. Who is... Look. It's going to look like I'm, like, trying to hunt him down. But, like, yeah, Isaiah Evans, who, by the way, I'm pretty sure his Instagram handle is put your hands up. I'm genuine... Or is it? Oh, no. Okay, I was lied to. It's Showtime, unless it's new. Wait, is this true? I don't know, because I saw it, and there's a chance it's not real. Get a hand up. Is that legit, or did he change it just now? Did he change it already? It says Showtime.slim, which I'm going to say... Is this real? This is real? Okay, this definitely is probably him, but Showtime.slim. Dude, could you imagine, right? All right, too many places are reporting on it. I think it has to be. I still don't. But like again, like if I'm like I know for a fact, I'll say this. I know for if Uconn is in that position where let's say Duke is hitting up a game-winning three, I can guarantee you every single player on that team is coached to put their hands up, right? So I don't understand. I don't understand the logic in like just needing to sit there. I don't care how far back the shot is. Like I understand maybe you don't want him to foul, but you can at least what's the John? Oh God. John Shayer, credit to recruiting, but there's a clear lapse in coaching for Duke. A clear lapse. It's and I mean it's not necessarily always his fault. Like it was also like there's just such a obviously there's a level to being a great recruiter, but being a great recruiter does not automatically translate into being a good coach. You can very much be good at recruiting and yet still not be an excellent coach. Now, I think the one thing that's very clear from March and in general is that the two things that probably matter most in the tournament, by far, one is coaching, but two is size. And we'll get into Michigan because they also have that. But for Duke, I mean, and here's the interesting thing. A lot of people hate Duke, but if you're going to be honest, Duke hasn't won in 11 years. Like, Duke actually hasn't won, I think, since what, 2015? Or 2015, 2016? So it's been a while, right? And, like, trust me, like, nobody necessarily would want to see them win even next year or the year after. But it always, and it also, oddly enough, it's also stunning to me how many people will say, like, what? I was going to say, at the NBA level, a lot of people will have, like, what would Luka do with the Long Island University team? Or what would Giannis do with Siena, right? How far would they go? I got to be honest, that team doesn't win the tournament. Like, a lot of people, I think their instinctual answer with those lower seeds is that they would win the tournament if they had, like, an actual, like, one of the best NBA players. I'm going to be honest, I don't think they do. Because, like, they might make it, like, further. Like, they might... There's also, like, a good chance they don't beat a 1 seed. Like, there's a good chance. Like, I think people will always, like, oh, dude, if Giannis was on it. But, like, does he? Does he actually? Because I would make an art, like, does Giannis do that? Maybe, like, maybe a Jokic would. Like, I think there's actually way less players that can win an entire March Madness bracket with even, like an 8 seed, I think is a lot to ask of. For them to do it. That'd be... Just because at any given night, you could have an off night, and... Well, yeah, any given day, you can have an off night, number one. Number two, you don't know who's going to get hot on the other team. And frankly, at a certain point, like... especially, like, good coaches will still game plan well around a top player. Like, yeah, they'll still have a huge impact, but I still think... I don't know. To ask them to take, like, any seed that's a double-digit seed or lower is, like, any of the double-digit seeds, I think it would still be, like, probably not Final Four, as crazy as that is. But, I don't know. I just don't think so. It's possible, but I kind of doubt it. Could happen. I don't think would. Anyway, Uconn, massive win. Congrats to Dan Hurley and them. Unfortunately, I will be rooting against them because I need Illinois in this championship. But it was an incredible win to see nonetheless. So very, very cool in that regard. So that's all I had with Uconn there. The other couple teams. Let me get into Michigan, which is kind of the next one I really got to get into. Michigan terrifies me as someone who picked Arizona, as I was mentioning earlier. Michigan is like I knew that they were one seed coming in. I knew they were really good, and I still have them in the Final Four. Like as of right now, I did have Arizona because I kind of like the roster just a touch better. But after seeing the two teams in this tournament, gosh, Michigan just feels like such an overwhelming, like, oh, they're just gonna win the whole thing. Like out of all of them, it feels like them. The size that they have, there was at one point the game just ended against Tennessee. Like it was a 21-0 run. And the game was just over. It was done. Like, at that point, there was nobody who anticipated that there was any shot that Tennessee was going to come back. Not against this squad. Not against this group of guys. And, I get it. Tennessee's a 6 seed, so it's not like and again, Michigan will obviously have their toughest test going against Arizona. Same to Arizona, vice versa. But, looking at the box score, it was a 21-0 run is just absurd to just drop, like, basically out of nowhere. Like, it was kind of close. Like, Tennessee was kind of right there. And then the 21-0 surge, and then at no point did it look like Tennessee ever had a shot to come back. Like, Tennessee's biggest highlight was a jam down 20. Down, like, 70-44. Like, dude, it's evil. Yeah, it's just not. It was not nearly enough. And then Mara, the center, dude, I like that guy. If we didn't already have draft Mulak last year, I would want the Suns to try to find a way to get him. I think it'd be the other guy. I don't know why I get really attached to players in the draft that could be lottery picks that aren't the top pick because, like, my team's never really bad. Like, the last time we had number 1 overall pick, I was mad. I was mad because it was Ayton. Ayton just never panned out. But with, like, Sturtz, like, we need a point guard. Bennett Sturtz actually makes so much sense to land in Phoenix. Like, it's not even funny. Jalen Green's fine, but he's not really much of a ball handler, in my opinion. Like, he's more of a high-volume shoot guy from what I've watched. He can. I just don't think he should. It's pretty ridiculous. And to see Michigan though is brutal because none of their games have been like watching them. I think the most I watched of them in the tournament was against St. Louis because I was watching Avila, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and dude, there was some one point where Mara puts a move on him, completely spins him around. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's over. Like Michigan was never gonna lose to anybody in that area of the bracket. It just wasn't gonna happen. There's no shot. I'm still honestly like I in all transparency, I'm still kind of shocked the way Florida lost to Iowa, which is also a real shocking one. But for Michigan to bully the teams that the way that they have does make me feel like it's probably gonna be them. But I don't know. Anything can happen. It really depends on what Arizona does because what Arizona did against Purdue was a little like it makes you almost feel like, yeah, there's a clear difference between Arizona and Michigan. But the reality is Arizona at one point was down 7 and then coming out of halftime just completely turned it on. I just don't think that happens against Michigan. It can happen against a team like Purdue that's not necessarily as athletic, doesn't have like the stacked roster that I think the other 1 seeds do. Not that their roster's bad. Their roster just plays more into the experience, and it's really why they beat Texas. To get that tip in, that only comes from like playing with each other a lot to be able to get a tip in like that. So that's really why they were able to win there. But as for going up against a team that's just generally more athletic, it was going to be a tough time for Purdue, especially coming out of the half. And now you got Arizona, who is also going up against an equally gifted team. That's not only it's got a mix of young guys as well as some vets. I mean vets by college standards. It's gonna be a close one. I hope it is one of, if not the best game that we see. I don't know that it will be, just because it's one of those games where if Arizona basically can't ever trail by more than like 8 points. I think if Arizona at any point trails by more than 8, I think Michigan just has too much size and dominates them too much. That's the one issue, right? That's the big issue that I would see occurring. And then outside of that, it's so what happened from there. Jesus, man, my congestion is killing me. I don't know what it is. It's every time I leave to go basically anywhere, I catch someone's garbage for at least 2 days, and it messes up with my brain, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Ugh. But in regards again, and I hold on, I gotta look into Arizona again because I was reading it over. Koa Pete, dog. Aiden Bradley, dog. I mean, yeah, and that was the other thing too. When they were guarding Braden Smith, watching him like it wasn't especially for a team that needs to for a Purdue to win against a team like Arizona, you need to play it really clean. Like you can't be turning it over late in the game. That's basically where it was pretty much over. Like you had a turnover that led to a buried 3, and it's like well that's over. Yep. Yeah, and the Purdue was held to its second lowest point total of the season and shot just 38% from the field. Like Arizona is legitimate. I would not count them out against Michigan. That being said, watching Michigan just kind of, it's scary. But Arizona's also got size. Arizona's fairly big. They can definitely go and down a team. I think the one thing that might be different is the reason why Arizona might struggle is because especially they don't really shoot a high percentage of threes. Like their 3-point percentage was actually worse. But they're also like a team with size. It just depends on how much. If Michigan say gets into foul trouble early in the second half, then Arizona could potentially feast. But so we'd have to see. But I don't know. It'll go from there, I guess. I guess we'd have to see where things would continue to rock and how things would continue to roll. So, anyway, the last kind of team I think I might have to end in like the next 10 minutes, dude. My brain is shot. Oh my gosh, I am exhausted. There are some things I still want to talk about though, despite me going down early. Illinois over Iowa. So, a couple things about this game. One, it basically means like the last kind of what I'll call Cinderella team is essentially eliminated. Iowa goes down, makes it all the way to the Elite Eight, which very impressive run. Being able to down Clemson round 1, Florida round 2, and then being able to get through the Sweet 16 and downing Nebraska, which, by the way, that game against Nebraska also bothered me because of bad coaching. Because I do not like Nebraska. I give a little bit not as much heinous action as Duke, because Duke is like supposed to be this high elite program. Like the fact that Duke allows that is crazy. I get it. They're college kids, but like it doesn't matter at a certain point, right? Like that kind of situation, it felt like laziness. The big issue that I would take with something like Nebraska is that, dude, how do you not have 5 guys in the court? Like the fact that there's no recognition of that is bad. Like, I'm sorry, but like you gotta recognize in that position that you're down a guy, right? And they don't. And they just didn't recognize it at all until it was way too late and it was just over. It's like, my gosh. I mean, crazy, crazy work to have that be the case. But you know what? I give credit to Iowa. They had a great run. Illinois has been kind of one of the sleepers, especially. I mean, being able to do what they did to Houston was also very impressive. So Credit to them there. UConn's going to be a much more difficult test than Houston, just because I think UConn's a better shooting team than Houston is, but we'll see. We'll see how Illinois matches up with them moving forward. But it could be tough. It could be a tough one. Also, the big thing I want to talk about, the main, we saw a huge retirement today in the form of one of the GOATs, one of the legends of the New York Jets, and that man is Chris Streveler. Let me say this. This was one of the funniest games, at least that I had ever seen to watch, because I remember I was talking with Taff, who is, big Jets guy, and I remember midway through the season, the Jets, this was like 2022, I think it was, the Jets were like something like 6-4 with Zach Wilson, or 6-4, 7-4, and he's like, oh man, they're pretty good, and I'm like, yeah, they're gonna win like maybe one more game the rest of the year. And if we go to that New York Jets season where they started hot, I think it is 2022. Let's go in. Yep. So 2022. Yep, it was an excellent start. They were actually at one point 6-3 and 7-4. They were 7-4 post a win against the Chicago Bears, and I think it was around the bye week when they upset the Bills that everyone was freaking out that the Jets were 6-3, that the Jets were back, and what ended up happening was the Jets, coming out of the bye, they lost to New England in an embarrassing game, and I said, that's not good. This team is in trouble with the way they lost 10-3. They were able to beat the Bears the following week at 7-4, but then at Vikings was a loss. At Buffalo, they were gonna lose. Bills were not gonna get swept. Lions then beat them. And then the Jacksonville game, that was known as the Chris Streveler game there. And that was, that was just not good. What was it? Yeah, Zach Wilson struggled. He was 9 of 18 for 92 yards and a pick, and he was benched and replaced by Chris Streveler, who sparked, hilariously, I like how it says it sparked some hope, but they only had like 3 points. It was a 19-3 game. They fell to 7-8, and I don't know. I mean, listen, it's just something that I find very overall kind of funny. Like the fact that at one point in that season, the Jets were a grand total of 7-4, lost 6 games in a row, and finished still somehow last in the division despite 7 wins. I think it's, you know what, and respect to Chris Streveler, man. I have a lot of respect for that man, but just not enough. Not enough for your boy. Not enough for the undrafted quarterback out of South Dakota, who apparently, I remember he was on the Cardinals, but I don't remember him on Ravens and Dolphins, because I guess practice squads and then Jets, and then he was playing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, started his career with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, ended his career with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and you know what, not bad, Chris, I give you some credit, you know what, and there's also a really cool picture of him hoisting the 2019 Grey Cup parade with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So very cool. Very, very awesome to see, Chris. But the Jets did you dirty. But you're also not the only one, so it's okay. But I remember watching that game and remembering this is tough, man. Like this is some tough stuff to watch. If you're a Jets fan, you gotta watch Chris Streveler. It's tough. It's a tough one. Sorry, Chris, but that was a brutal watch on my end. So, but congrats on a very great career. You will forever be elite ball knowledge. I imagine 10 years from now, Chris Streveler will be elite ball knowledge. I don't think it is quite right now, just because he's retired. He just retired, and he was backed up fairly recently. But in 10 years, I'm gonna be pulling out Chris Streveler and see if people know that. So keep it in your back pocket. Keep it in your back pocket when you're going out and then hanging with the boys in 8 years from now. Put that as a reference to myself. Make sure you mention Chris Streveler. Outside of that, this cold sucks. This cold sucks. My head is pounding. Was also a long day at work, so you know what? I think it's gonna be a short, little 30-minute stream. I don't have as much energy today, guys. I also spelled Sewell as Seawheel. Yowza. Yeah, again, it's like every time coming home, I have to like speed run making the slides. So, well, you know what? It is what it is. We're able to get that done. So, I appreciate those y'all tuned in today. I am gonna probably eat and might pass out basically immediately because I am tired and I'm also cold. And but that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will be. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. Hopefully, I feel better and this cold doesn't suck by then. If it doesn't, then let's go. But if it does, then you'll probably see me Thursday. It'll probably be until then. But in the meantime, this has been an episode of Free Refill, episode number 54. And that's all I got. Appreciate all of you. I am going to try to survive whatever this is. So, peace, guys. I'll see y'all next time on either Prime Time or Free Refill. Have a good one.